Hey guys, originally I was going to make this video just for my dance mom friends to help them figure out the placement of the ribbons and the elastics that come along with their pointe shoes to sew on for their daughter's shoes. Recently my daughter just got her first pair fitted, and I used to take pointe many years ago, and over the years I had a lot of different shoes, different brands, and I found what worked for me the best and was the quickest and best way to get your ribbons and elastics in there. Again, there are many ways. There's not very many wrong ways, but I would like to show you guys how to get that started. So when you go and get fitted for your pointe shoes, as you can see, I've already done one. Most of one. I need to wait for my daughter to get home from school to measure across her foot to get the elastic here done exactly how we need to. But you do get in your kit one long ribbon and one long piece of elastic that comes with the shoes. And separately, I bought this little kit that came with these scissors, fingernail clippers, seam ripper, needle, and a very thick thread that's going to match almost to your pointe shoes. As stated before, when you get your pointe shoes, you should be given a long piece of elastic and one long piece of ribbon. And when you get that ribbon, it's going to be folded in half, and then you're going to cut it, okay, making two long pieces. Then you're going to take those two long pieces, fold them in half, cut it again, making two for each shoe. With the elastic, same thing. You're going to take it, fold it in half, clip it, and then you're going to fold it in half, clip it, and making four pieces again. Then you're going to take your shoe and you're going to find where the seams are on the side, right above that, and you're going to kind of pull it like this. And you're going to fold that down. When you do that, grab a pencil and you're going to make a little mark just right inside each side, just like that. That is to help with placement of the ribbon. So when you find your little notch, you're going to take your ribbon. There's a shiny side and a dull side for most. Sometimes the children use a matte ribbon, but in this case we have a shiny on one side and a dull on the other. So before we get started on sewing, we want to take the ends of each side of all of the ribbons, and we would like to get a lighter and burn them, just melting them slightly so that they do not fray. I have also used the method where you fold it in half and you cut at an angle. When you open it, it's a V. That also helps protect it from being able to fray further past that lower point. I've seen people use fingernail polish for the ends so that they do not fray, but my favorite still is with a lighter. And now we can get started on figuring out where to place these ribbons. So when you made your little marks on the inside of your shoe, you're going to take your ribbon, make sure that that shiny side is facing in the shoe, okay? And you're going to not have it come straight like this. You want it to be a little bit tilted so that it doesn't have this bend in it when you're wrapping it around your ankle and pulling that shoe wrong, okay? So again, we're going to place it just outside of that little mark at an angle. Okay, it kind of gives it an angle whenever you have your shoe like this and you place it in there. It kind of puts it down at an angle. That's good. So remembering about the shiny and the matte side, we're going to take the shiny side and right in where we have these creases, I'm going to kind of just slide this in here with my finger real quick so you can see. It makes kind of a natural slant down. Because if you try to do it straight like this, whenever you're wrapping around your ankle at an angle, it's going to do a weird pull on the side here, and wrinkle that shoe, and also could be very uncomfortable depending on where it lands on your foot. So whenever you're placing your ribbon, you're finding that little notch that you made. Okay, that ribbon is sitting just right outside of it, again at an angle, and you want it to kind of come down almost to where the padding part is on the inside. And we're going to pin it in a square all the way around. Let me show you how I did that on the other shoe. Okay, at an angle. It's not the prettiest, it's all sewn by hand, not by my machine. So, and we just start on the inside of this natural crease that it has at the top. And whenever you're doing your thread, your knot that you make needs to go right there in that crease, because that also helps protect it from touching your foot. So start there, and then I like to go straight down this one side, across the bottom, back up the other side, and then finally come back across in this natural crease you see here, ending back where I started next to it, again with another knot hiding in that crease. Clip off the excess, okay? Then you do that to the other side as well, okay? When you're done, they should be hanging out just like this. Now you see my elastics, they're not done yet. I have to measure my daughter's foot when she gets home to see how they fit comfortably. So her fitting, we could not find a size that fit perfectly. She couldn't do a half, it was too small, and she couldn't do a whole because it was too large. This is slightly too big. Just that little bit right there you see there is too big off of her ankle, but she is in a growth period in her life, so it's not going to be long, and these will be just fine. So because of that extra, we're going to take her elastics and go across the top of her foot. Now, not everybody likes to do the crisscross method across the foot. Your ankle will go through here. Some people like to do around the ankle. But today I do not have an extra pair to show you the around the ankle. I'm sure you can figure out how, and I will try to do my best to explain it at the end. But for right now, we're going to do these two just like this. So you have a seam that comes all the way down. You're going to place these about 3/4 of the way down, and you're going to do the same thing, stitching starting at that crease, box it in, and it will be hanging out just like that. Same for the other side. Okay, I'll get to the other part of that video of the crisscross once I get her ankle measured. As for the one that goes around the ankle, same method though. You're going to sew right across by that crease. You're going to put both ends, one here, okay, but it's going to be one solid piece, and it would look like that, okay, to go around the ankle. Again, measurement, you don't want it too tight around that ankle, okay, because that's going to make numbness. It's going to possibly help them. So you take your thread and you're going to get a pretty good length. I love to have excess just in case I want to go and cross stitch an X in the middle of those squares that I was talking about for extra support. Sometimes, depending on how rough they are, an X in the middle might help also keep that ribbon in place a lot better. So anyway, you want to get a pretty decent size piece of ribbon, thread, cut it. You're going to go ahead and do this knot at the end like normal, and thread your needle. Once the needle is threaded, you're going to have a shorter side, longer side where the knot is. Okay? We're going to take that ribbon, once again, making sure that that shiny side is placed against the shoe, right where our little mark is. And I'm going to start in this crease. I'm going to just poke it through Make sure you go nice and slow because this thicker thread likes to wrap up and make knots, and you don't want that. Going back through, and we're going to also not make our stitches long. We're going to make them very short. The longer they are, the less support you have. Making sure that you are not grabbing any part of that ribbon in with each stitch. Okay. We're just going right down the side here. Okay, I finished sewing all the way around that box, and I'm at the end where I am about to tie the knot. You want to try to get that knot as close as you can to the shoe. So I like to make sure that before I pull it tight, that I have that thread pushed down when I'm pulling that knot. That way it's very close. And then I snip off the excess right above it. There should be nothing hanging off. There's one. Also, another tip whenever you're sewing in that ribbon on the side, you want it to be a nice snug piece up against it. You don't want there to be wrinkles in it like this, or sagging or pulling of any kind. You want it to be a nice, flat, tight piece sewn in. And that's it. Sewn elastics, sewn ribbons. Whenever your daughter puts on their shoes and they tighten them for the first time and tie their little bow, you don't want a big bow, just a little bow, then you're going to undo it, and then you're going to clip off the excess of this as well and burn it.